one of the things that business owners forget a lot is to prepare for their own retirement.
Hi, my name's Nick Palavita, and today I'm with a very special guest, a certified financial planner, a chartered retirement plan specialist, and president of National Pension Partners, Max Culiet. Max, tell me what you do at National Pension Partners.
Well, Nick, we help successful small businesses and professionals put together retirement plans that provide them the maximum retirement benefits and big tax deductions at the same time.
Well, how do you do this?
Well, we get on an internet conferencing system with the client, we review their goals, what they want to accomplish, and then put together strategies to help them in implementing a retirement plan that benefits them, not everybody else.
Well, that sounds really good, but how much does this cost?
Well, it's really not bad because the first consultation is free. That allows us to go through and discover whether this strategy works for that business and for you as the business owner and helping you maximize your retirement.
Well, Max, how do we get this free appointment?
It's really pretty simple, Nick. You can either go to our website below or call us at 877-252-1692, and then we can set up a time with either myself, Nick, or one of our other retirement plan specialists, another CPA or advisor in the office to go over this with you and make sure it fits for you.
Hi, my name is Lewis Haupt. I work with National Pension Partners, and I work with businesses to allow them to put the maximum away that they can for themselves and to save taxes.
Hi, I'm Brad Coyle, and I'm the brokerage manager at National Pension Partners. We're always analyzing plan fund choices in order to ensure the participant's success.
If you want more information on how we can help you and your business put more money away in a retirement plan than you ever thought possible, contact us at the website below or call us at 877-252-1692.
Hello, everybody. Welcome to the media show on the Pod TV network. I'm Nick Palavita. I'll be your host for today. I'm broadcasting from Tampa, Florida at the beautiful Marriott Hotel, which is right in the middle of the airport if you happen to go to Tampa International Airport. With that, of course, we have a gentleman who has over 100 years experience in the media broadcasting from the Raleigh-Durham area. We're going to bring in Mark Lee, who's remember, today is the media show, which I'll flip over into a minute. And then we're going to move all the way over to Bangladesh. We're going to bring in the Honorable Dr. Sharif, who will let us know what's going on in the Asian market. And also, apparently, he's got some new developments he's doing over there with the World Talent Economic Forum, which is broadcast on the Pod TV network and broadcast into over, I think we're over 120 countries, Dr. Sharif. But you're making some new inroads. How many?
So between 120, 150, something like that. But yeah,
120, 150 countries. Yeah. Right. Yeah. Well, I know that you broadcast in Spain because I kind of live in Spain. So
you kind of live in Spain now. But I got some interesting news for you and Dr. Sharif, because apparently there was a recent study as to the trustworthiness of the media and everything. So there's a study, it's called Trust in Media 2025, which news sources Americans use and trust. And this was done by some director of survey and data journalism and everything like that. But they said the American news landscape remains polarized by political party identification and to some extent age, with few news sources both used and trusted widely among Democrats and Republicans. It says Democrats are far more likely than Republicans to trust the news in general, as well as trust most specific major outlets included in the YouGov's 2025 poll of trust in the media. So this is the YouGov folks that did this, and Democrats and Republicans find common ground on sources for financial news, but hold vastly different opinions on most other news sources, including the two used by most Americans, CNN and Fox News. So they went through and asked about 50 sources and everything, and we weren't on this list. I don't know why we weren't on the list. We got to find out where we aren't on the list. But one of the top one, this is what I was going to ask Sharif. Can you guess who the most trusted weather source is? Because this actually shocked me, because apparently they won, and they are up from 43% last year, and like last year, They were followed, and you're not going to like this, they were followed by two public broadcasters, the BBC and PBS. But who do you think is the most trusted outlet in terms of news?
The Weather Channel.
I think
You got it.
right now,
It's the Weather Channel. The Weather Channel is the
Weather
most
Channel,
trusted.
I believe it's owned by IBM, believe it or not, Mark. I'll have to
I
go
thought
check.
it was owned by an African American. I thought it was owned by
Well,
Brian.
we have our statistician. We have Rick, who knows everything, and what he doesn't know, he plugs into the internet, and they know. So maybe he can let us know who owns the Weather Channel.
Who
I know
owns the
it was-
Weather Channel? Doesn't Brian Scott own that?
I thought IBM bought
Yeah, I
it.
thought it was Brian Scott that owned it at one point.
Yeah,
It's owned by Byron Allen,
Byron Allen.
Byron Allen. That's what I
the
thought.
Allen
Byron,
Media Group.
right.
He's with what media group?
It's called Byron Allen's Entertainment Studios.
Oh, do you know Byron
Media
Allen?
Group.
And Byron Allen is
Byron Allen
he's like
is,
a popular
is
sports anchor, if I remember correctly.
a comedian, I believe.
And he owns the weather. Why would he buy the Weather Channel? That's really
I don't know,
weird.
probably because it's a great investment.
Oh, can you get him on the air, Mark? Invite this
Let's see what we can
Byron
do about
Allen.
that.
Oh,
Yeah,
by the way, I
Yeah,
invited
Byron Allen.
Byron Allen, like if you're watching TV at 1 a.m., he's got he's got a show where he talks to other comedians that I
Really?
guess is syndicated for small markets.
but it's not in Spain, so I don't watch him. So the thing is, I did see Bill Clinton with Patterson on the other day. They have a new book out, and I invited Patterson to show up to one of our shows. But see, the problem is when you get these people. Now, Mark knows how to do that. I'm not this good at. You got to work through their publicity agents to get them on your show. It's a real pain in the rear, and sometimes it takes time. Because I know Mark got the Little House on the Prairie. I don't know if you see that in Bangladesh, Dr. Sharif, but there was a big famous show here a long time ago called Little House on the Prairie. You know, I'm sure it was in the top 10. Anyway, they got the reunion on our Pod TV network. So Kim, I believe, is out in California meeting them somewhere for
Yes.
their next reunion deal that they have.
Yeah,
But when you-
he's meeting him in some little town called
Yeah, it's a
Columbia,
little-
or Columbus, California.
Little
Some
town
town
in
I've never
Yeah,
heard
California.
of.
some
everything
little,
like that.
little town. Remember, it's a little house on the prairie, so their reunions in a little town in California.
Right, so it might have little house. So I gave a garbage number in the previous hour. I said that the
did.
annual cost of Alzheimer's might be 7.7 trillion, and that's what AI kind of threw at me. And I checked it out, and it doesn't hold up because that's
Okay.
That's spending like $1 million per Alzheimer's patient, which is not the case. It's expensive, but I found more reasonable numbers. 360 billion in 2024, rising to $1 trillion by 2050. But the deal is that's not just
Right.
every cost is an opportunity. If
Oh
people
yeah, to sell long-term care products. I agree.
well, long-term care, or else come up with a drug.
Yeah.
Families would easily, most families would easily pay $20,000 a year for a combination of like robot, health aids, or a drug or a chip in the heads of Alzheimer's people that might keep their brains working a little longer. That's a huge market. That's a $170 billion a year market.
Yeah, well, we can get the people in Bangladesh to do the research. I mean,
By the way, I asked the AI the question you asked, and it says Byron Allen, and they actually put him down as a film producer, acquired the Weather Channel for a few key reasons. He said it was part of a broader investment strategy to acquire media assets with the plan to invest billions of dollars over the next 5 years, according to the Los Angeles Times. Additionally, Allen expressed a desire to inspire other young, diverse individuals, much like Barry Gordy inspired him. He also highlighted the continuing importance of the Weather Channel, especially during severe weather events, even though consumers are increasingly using apps for weather information. Furthermore, Allen stated he bought the channel after hearing concerns from scientists about the effects of climate change. So,
I met Barry Gordy. I don't know if you know that, Mark.
Yeah, tell me.
I sort of know who he is, and he sort of knows who I am. I met him in San Francisco years ago. I mean, now it's decades ago. When he had a company that, what was it? It was somewhere in Detroit, So he was a pretty big media guy.
Well, you should meet Byron Allen because you could
I've
help.
never met Byron yet.
He's
Well,
got a net worth.
Hold on a second.
He's got a net worth of more than $800 million.
And we have breaking news from Byron Allen, accordingly to this, and this is today, June 2nd, 2025. LA media mogul Byron Allen has hired an investment bank to sell some of his television stations. So in a significant...
That's a good idea.
Media mogul Byron Allen has retained investment banking firm Moelis & Company to sell his network affiliate television stations after spending more than $1 billion to scoop up outlets in smaller markets. So I think he's going to keep the Weather Channel, but the Allen Media Group announced the news Monday morning it owns nearly 2 dozen stations, including in Northern California near Redding, as well as Honolulu, Flint, Michigan, Madison, Wisconsin, and Tupelo, Mississippi.
Mark, did he buy the Weather Channel from IBM? I mean, do you know who he bought it from? Maybe Rick can do the research on that.
I'm going to do some research.
Because remember, we were IBM TV at one time, and I thought the Weather Channel was one of our sister organizations. Yeah, Dr. Sharif.
He bought it from the Blackstone Group and Bain, so it was owned by VCs, I guess. Is that?
Oh my Lord. Okay, that might.
I just want to share some of the economic growth information from Bangladesh. Let's say I think Nick, you assumed that how Trump introduced this tariff and all of the things, Bangladesh you will be benefited. You are correct. Right now, Bangladesh, like Chinese investor teams, like ministers with 100 company, first time they came to Bangladesh and they proposed for investment in Bangladesh manufacturing and construction and all of the industries. So Nick, your economic prediction is very correct for Bangladesh. Secondly, Japan also investing heavily in Bangladesh, more than $1 billion in transport, in research, in education, and in human resource development. Besides that, as Japan has a lot of elderly people, so that's why they are inviting 100,000 Bangladeshi people to take care of their peoples in Japan. So today we launch a Japan language training centers in Bangladesh, or I join as a keynote speaker, and all of the places in stock exchange commissions, in Bangladesh defense, in Japan embassy in Bangladesh, everywhere I promote Nick's predictions is that. Nick is a famous scholars and famous media persons from USA. So people are claps and a lot of audience are interested to see Nick in person and all of my friends in Bangladesh. So what we can do, maybe we can organize a CEO training program. So my plan, like how we can, let's say Nick has an idea of developing human resource based on economical knowledge or financial knowledge and all of the things. So next 5 years, my World Talent Economic Forum plan, according to Nick idea, definitely I want to give thanks to Nick and all of my friends from Port TV. So maybe we can train 1,000 CEO, right? Next 5 years. And they can be our brand ambassador. Let's say this 1,000 company can be brand ambassador for Port TV. And we can explore around the world, and we can bring a lot of audience and good business people, and we can learn good things from
great and everything. By the way, Nick, you are correct and everything, because I did some digging on myself. And they're talking about when he bought it, which was I think back in 2008. But it says Entertainment Studio is buying the Weather Group, parent company of Cabler and the local Now streaming service from Comcast and the private equity giants Blackstone and Bain. The group purchased the Weather Channel for $3.5 billion in July of 2008. The digital operations of the Weather Channel were acquired in 2015 by IBM in a deal pegged at around $2 billion. So the digital operations of the Weather Channel were controlled by IBM.
But Byron Allen got a huge deal, because when it was sold before, Mark just said it sold for $3.5 billion.
Yeah.
Byron Allen got it like 8 years later for $300 million. That's a 92% discount.
Yeah, but you know the problem. Like I'm in a couple of weeks from now, toward the end of the month, I'm going to be at the NAPTE conference. No one knows what it is. It's the National Association of Professional Television Executives, the largest amount of TV executives in the world that buy and sell television content and movie contents. They meet twice a year, once in Budapest. It's not Budapest, it's Budapest. The other in Miami Beach. I missed the Miami Beach, but Mark went there in my stead. I'm going to one in Budapest in a couple weeks. Here's what's been happening, because there they tell you the trends. The trends is streaming. That's part of the reason he's ditching his small TV outlets, Mark. They're
Right.
very expensive to maintain, these small television things, but streaming, which is what we do, is very inexpensive. I mean, I was able to set up my studio here in the Marriott, all on the internet. And you notice I have a beautiful background because at the Marriott at Tampa International, just like that, bang. As long as I got a good internet connection, and I was just lucky I had one, but they actually will upgrade you to a higher one, and you have electricity, man, you're good to go. If I brought in studios, you'd have to bring in these lunky cameras, cameramen to operate, lighting that needs to flash on and off. It's just huge, expensive. Then you got to get releases, forget it. So the real problem is that a lot of the media, these small television stations, between me and the stars, they're obsolete. They're just waiting to die. And we saw that when we worked with PBS for a couple of years. They were losing their local stations because, frankly, they're obsolete. They can't beat streaming. Yeah, Rick.
It's a whole different business model.
Correct.
Here's just one dimension of it. When, I worked at Kimmel, and they would rebroadcast episodes of Kimmel. Every time they rebroadcast a show, I'd get a check for $400, and I got enough of those checks to pay for our house.
That's pretty good.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Lately, the checks have started to come in again. Huge stacks of checks that like weigh a pound. And you open up the envelope, all the checks are for 2 cents, for 3 cents, because
that's not good.
But yeah, it's great for streaming because those are streaming residuals. I talked to the writer, creator, director of a classic movie, Real Women Have Curves. She is getting those same checks for 7 cents because streaming somehow doesn't have to pay you $400. It only has to pay you.
That's because they're not under SAG. I mean, the thing is, this. By the way, the streaming, what do they call it? The streaming services just rip people off, and I'm talking about. Well, we broadcast them, so I'm not going to talk about them. Okay, because you know what? We also got shut down again. In other words, if you say certain things that are wrong, they will shut you down. But we do broadcast through a lot of streaming services, correct? And the real problem is if you say something they don't like, they will put you in timeout, so to speak. So one of them, we're in timeout till June the 4th. I'm not going to tell you which one because they're like little Trumpsters that run these streaming services, but they have a lot of power because they have 1 billion followers each. And some of them, and I'm not kidding, with David Walker, I said I rebroadcast his show to a place that has 142,000 executives. I mean, you just can't get those numbers unless you go to Bangladesh. That's the reason.
No, but there's something called. Hold on a second. There's something that I just looked it up, and we're not on it yet. Maybe we got to figure out how to get on there. But there's something called StreamCharts.com. Is the largest database of live streaming stats and analytics. It says they got more than 5 years of data, 10 plus platforms, and 51 million plus channels covered. And apparently, the leading channel is some guy on Twitch named Zach Rawar, and he's got like some looks like 2,350,817 hours watched and everything. So
wow.
Also at the consumer end, the streamers function as near monopolies. We get our bill every month for our streaming and our phone and computer, and my wife says we're paying them $300. So then we get on the phone with them and beg them, saying how we can't afford $300 a month for it. And they're like, well, if you don't, you can give up some channels, which we did. So I can't watch the Dodgers most games or the Lakers because just to save a little money, but we're still at like, I don't know, $290. And
but it's really interesting. I was going to say, because I got a couple of things I was going to get. I heard just you told me, but one, it was interesting that there was a candidate at the Hay Times, it was one of the places I work at, and she was there on, I believe that was Saturday, either Friday or Saturday and everything. But she actually brought up the fact that she's running for Supreme Court justice. She was very proud of the fact that she was on 8 outlets, including, of course, Twitter and Instagram and TikTok and a number of others. But yeah, she made it very clear, Anita Earls, that she was proud to be on 8 different outlets in terms of social media and everything like that. I think Facebook was one of them, and I'm trying to get her to come on an interview on us and everything. But I did see that in the categories, because games are big, and I think I heard Toby's voice, that just chatting on Twitch is a leading category, as is it on K, which I think is kicks and everything like that. And then IRL, which I guess is in real life, is the other big category because it's number 3 after just chatting on Twitch and just chatting on kicks and everything. And then it's IRL, and then it's something called Streamer University that comes in fourth with 25,218.
Let's ask Jatovy, how do people make money on Twitch? Jatovy might be frozen, but
It might be frozen. Yeah. Well, the thing is, from what I know, a lot of the chess gamers make money on Twitch because of they get viewers and.
Is that a subscription thing? Is that begging for tips?
Actually, I don't know. I'm looking at who we're broadcasting through right now. We have 2 YouTube channels. One on we're broadcasting once on Twitter, and we're broadcasting, of course, on Roku and Amazon Fire. I lost the LinkedIn because of the time zone changes. My computer didn't register. LinkedIn's tough because you have to broadcast certain time. But what I'll do is I'll rebroadcast this on LinkedIn. So when you lose a broadcast, if you know what you're doing, you can rebroadcast. We do have a new relationship with TikTok, and we have new contracts with TikTok, and we're going to be looking to explore broadcasting most of our shows. It's going to take time because the whole setup's different to add TikTok, because in our beta tests, we get 6,000 to 20,000 people on our TikTok immediately, where usually you get, if you're lucky, you get 5,000 people.
So that's great for visibility, but does any of this return revenue to you?
I'm glad you asked. Well, the thing is, we created a new company. We announced it at our meeting in Raleigh-Durham called Pod TV Insurance and Financial Services. Now, that is an area that I'm very familiar with because I've been involved in it for like nearly 40 years. And what we're going to do through the network is we're going to bring Ask the Experts that sell long-term care insurance, general life insurance, tax-deferred annuities, and financial products. And that in the past has promoted us, and we're going to be doing that on a future basis, Rick. So the thing is, I'm very hopeful that Pod TV Insurance and Financial Services will not disrupt our programming, but will be able to augment our programming and our reach. Because, and I showed one of, the person who does the timeshare show, which shows right after this, she's getting like 4 to 5 phone calls and inquiries a day. You don't know much about financial services, Rick, but if you had 4 to 5 people a day call you asking to purchase long-term care or purchase insurance or purchase annuity contracts or purchase finance, that's a lot. Okay, 4 to 5 a day, and you get 4 to 5 the next day, etc. But it's the power of the media that you're able to do that. And how we do it without disrupting our shows is we're running an independent show away from it. It's going to be called Ask the Experts. It's going to start in the next month or the next month after. And then we're going to do another one called Annuity Vacation. This is based on the timeshare thing. All these people, they buy timeshares. It's a horror story. I mean, they all lose money. It's like, and they have this point system. It used to be you bought an interest in real estate. Now you buy all these weirdo points that keep going up, or it's Fugazi. No one knows what it is. So what we're going to do is encourage them not to buy the timeshare. Instead, invest in a tax-deferred annuity, which is like a CD at a bank, and take the interest every year and use that and go buy whatever vacation you want. And so we're going to show them the vacations they can buy with the interest earned.
Here's another reason to do annuities, because another reason to invest in your future. Now, they're saying you can't take it with you.
Right.
But as AI improves medicine, you can keep it with you just by not dying. And for the first time in history, people with good incomes and disposable income will be able to buy extra years of life.
Right.
Like your lungs are going, or your liver, or your kidneys. And instead of depending on, being on a transplant list, for 50 grand or 80 grand, you can buy a transgenic pig, a pig with your genes, and they grow a kidney in the pig, and then they cut the kidney out of the pig and they put it in you, and you can have a nice new kidney without having to take anti-rejection drugs.
Yeah. Well, you know, see, annuities you don't need to annuitize. Let's say you had $100,000 in annuity, and the interest is 5%, which is very realistic on a guaranteed basis. You get $5,000 a year coming out. You can still get to keep the $100,000. If you get tired of it, you can cancel the annuity. Now, the danger is they'll usually have a surrender period of 5 years. It's like a CD at a bank. So you got to keep the annuity for 5 years. In the meantime, every year you have $5,000 to go buy whatever vacation you want. Well, I can't do 100,000. Let's say you do 50,000. You have 2,500 a year. And at the end of the day, if you don't like it, you get your $50,000 back. I mean, it's sort of a no-brainer, boring investment. We use it in pensions for 25 years.
The boring investment thing, but it should be a great show for us and everything. But I did have a question for definitely Dr. Sharif and everything, because I was looking up some of these statistics. I know just how we wasn't here, but it says the live streaming statistics 2025, over 1/4 of internet users were watching live streams weekly. Live streaming is the third most popular type of video content, so there is some content that is more popular, reaching 27.7% of users each week, and the global live stream market is estimated to be worth $99.82 billion. So 27% of the live streams are watched on mobile devices, and live streaming viewership in Q1 of last year was 128% higher than in Q1 2019 and 61% greater than in Q1 2020. So I was just wondering, how much live streaming are people doing in Bangladesh? Because that's what my question was. Are a lot of people doing live streaming for the games and stuff like that? So are y'all having a lot of gamers doing a lot of activities there in Bangladesh?
Okay, Bangladeshi people, they are very big fan of social media, very, very big fan. And I told you, even the regular media, we have many private broadcast industries and media and everything, but all of them actually right now, our revolutions, our activities, our lifestyles, our investment, everything in social media, especially Facebook, definitely TikTok, LinkedIn, and all of the things they are using. But honestly speaking, one area I just want to share that Bangladesh need to improve, that we do not have enough database and like what's going on in what industry. We're talking about internet industries, or the digitalization industry, or healthcare industry, or education industries. So that's why I started the research projects and with Bangladesh Army, how we can clarify all of the information like Japan or like Singapore or like Bangkok. So this is the major area my research center right now working. But we have a huge populations. It's very small country, very, very small country. So I think that internet, we already invite SpaceX and all of the things and all of the internet company in Bangladesh, and they are operating right now. But I just want to say that our young entrepreneurs, our young people, the digital creator, right now they're heavily dependent on social media. And that's why I think that Pod TV has a great future, because they are heavily involved with social media, what you call this Amazon, Roku, this TikToks, this Facebook, LinkedIn, and all of the things. But again, one thing I want to request Professor Nick Palveda, maybe you can sponsor my projects, or we can collaboratively just develop our website and everything. Like if we can practically, like beside this kind of dialogue, this is very important, because wherever I go in the conference, even today I go in the Japan embassy for a conference as a special guest. Anyway, so I always promote your TV. It's a very good source of knowledge development, especially for emerging economy, especially for Bangladesh, especially for India, especially for Pakistan. Honestly speaking, you are developing very good things. Only one thing, you should not fight with each other. So
that's just certain programs that we fight on.
Yeah, there's certain programs we fight. I agree with, but you'd be glad to know.
Welcome to America.
It's like an Harvard, right? Online Harvard, right?
Right.
So people can come here. People can get knowledge from you. It's like an online Harvard. I always say to my student, today a lot of young people come. I say, hey, you want to learn from Nick? You want to learn from Nick Palveda? Go. It's like an online Harvard. So this is amazing initiative. Thank you.
No, that sounds good. By the way, you'll be glad to know this, Dr. Sharif, but as I'm looking at the increase in live streaming viewing since in 2022, a few years ago and everything, Asia was the leading one with a 90% increase, followed by Latin America with 70%. North America only had a 5% increase. Europe had 20%. Africa was 22%. And Oceania, which is down there near where Shaquille is with Australia and New Zealand, was like at 26%. They said people spend 8 times more time watching live videos than on-demand videos. Additionally, the users spent 10 to 20 times longer on live videos than on-demand content and everything. And in the United States, 34% of monthly live stream viewers favored watching live streams of breaking news compared to other types of live streams. So we do fit in that realm and everything. But this is what I found interesting, because I was trying to figure out what was ahead of video live streams. And apparently it's music videos with 48.2%. And Rick, you're going to love this. Following up in second place with 35% is comedy, meme, or viral videos with 35%, and then the video live streams. And then
so I looked up a bunch of numbers. Annual revenue. Netflix and Warner Brothers each have annual revenue of about $40 billion, and HBO and OnlyFans have revenue of $8 billion and $6.5 billion. And
wait, you're telling me Netflix only has a revenue of 40 billion?
40 billion.
You know, see, this is where the financial services industry, they just dwarf the media industry when it comes to making money. You know, a $40 billion company would be considered small.
Right.
I mean, really.
Right.
Although Netflix did have a big 10-year run, it was one of the best stock performers over the last
it's
10
doing
years.
great right now. Yeah.
It's doing great, but I think Jacoby got
What
a
is-
point. Go ahead, Jacoby.
Well, I mean, in terms of, you just looked up the regular media companies. What are the revenues of YouTube, Twitch, and Facebook?
Let's look at
That's what you got to look up.
Oh,
and even add TikTok in there.
Yeah,
Because that's where the streaming market really is. People want their on demand.
YouTube, 54 billion. So, about 40% more than Warner Brothers.
Hey, Nick, if we
So the big thing, but I was just going to say, the big thing is, this is where, honestly, the streaming money is. And this is where the companies are truly trying to get to. People want their on-demand, fun, exciting. They're going to watch some dude do whatever. And that's what goes viral. And then they'll make their millions. Because how you make money on streaming, you had asked earlier, is basically not only YouTube or not only views, but also in terms of like Twitch or YouTube Lives and stuff like that. There are options to donate to people. So people get money basically donated. Once you get a particular amount of money or a particular number of individuals who join your group or join your YouTube channel, or I think Twitch still has a 50-50 split on their actual on their subscriber setups. I know that YouTube doesn't have a they have a member side now, but it used to be subscription based, where that was a free piece. But it's all due to views.
So I have more numbers. TikTok, 23 billion, which isn't that impressive a number, except it's a 43% increase over the previous year. So it's still growing like crazy.
It's still growing like crazy. But what's the number with live streaming from Amazon? Because Amazon was trying to do a lot as well, and I know we've been doing stuff in Amazon. But that's one of the things I
don't know that you can get a number for that, because it's all part of, But
one of the things I've been seeing on TikTok, and I've been watching TikTok not as avidly as Tim was, but I've been watching it even though I haven't done it the last couple of days and everything. There was a lot of videos, and Jacoby, you might have some thoughts around this, that maybe Pod TV wants to explore. Because I did see a lot of people that were doing tutorial videos, and we don't have any really tutorial programs and everything. And I also saw a lot of people that were doing, which is coming back to Amazon, those product reviews. I mean, it might be just Joe Blow that's sitting there, or Sally blow that's sitting there looking at like the hairline or looking at like some different things that they were buying, and then they would give you a tutorial and everything. I mean, one of the biggest things that's out there is Yelp, and Yelp is basically you just review restaurants. I'm on Yelp Elite right now and everything.
Yeah,
and
so
I have been in the past.
you have your big always be there. By multiple.
You
I
got
think Jatovia's
So it's just
bad signal zone.
bad signal done. You're out.
All right, so but here's one more thing. Neuralink, which is Elon Musk's put a chip in your brain company, just it's a privately held right now, but they just did another round of funding with a valuation of $9 billion for the company.
That's respectable.
That's a future industry where we're talking about all these media providers, but right now we use our eyes and ears to stream media into our brain. But the new technology is if you can stream it right into your brain.
Yeah, well, you know, Rick, I've been using Google Translate to understand Spanish. It is advanced so much. In other words, instantaneously, if you were talking, it would translate it into English, but I have to read it off my cell phone. In the future, it's just going to go right into my ear as if you're talking. I'll be listening to you in English where you're talking in Spanish, and I'll be able to, as long as you have an earphone, I'll be talking in English. You'll be listening into that, which is going to break down the language barriers around the world. It will happen in the next 5 years. In other words,
hold a second. I have good news for you and everything, Nick, because I'm looking at the categories, and here's a table displaying the most popular categories of live stream videos viewed in the United States. And I'm just going to go from bottom up and everything. But the lowest one was conference and speakers with 9%, then religious content and events with 12%, video game competitions, which I know that Jatovia is involved in, with 15%, concerts and festivals, which I'm involved in, with 15%, videos by celebrities, so that technically would be you, Rick, at 17%, national newscasts, 20%, videos by internet personalities, 21%, local newscasts, 23%, how-to videos, we don't have any of those, maybe we need to get some, at 26%, videos by friends or family, 26%, comedy, which I know Rick is involved in, 28%, sports, games, and matches, so we need to get more of that at 29%, and this is where you will be glad to know the lead-in category is breaking news with 34%. So if that breaking news that we do, that's at 34%.
Hey. Well, maybe you should change.
I want to go back to Google Translate. I took 5 years of French in high school and junior high. I can't speak French, but those were wasted. Wasted
years.
So language classes, except in your native language or what of your region, like English. Everybody should take English in America, but classes in other languages, I don't know. That seems like a waste of time. If we have simultaneous translation services.
Yeah. You know what, Sharif, if you have somebody I can hire in Bangladesh who would run the translator programs for me, I will pay them to translate into these languages. I did it myself. I mean, I can do it. The problem is it takes me an hour. And as I told people, I don't have an hour. I mean, after this week, I don't have an hour. It just doesn't exist. I'm booked solid for a week. And sometimes people, they Facebook friend me. Oh, it's usually some lady. Why didn't you get back with me? I said, I don't have an hour. My next hour is available next Thursday at 3:00. And they go, oh, you're so mean. No, I'm not mean. It's just my life. That's how it works. I'll get booked solid every hour on the hour all the way for like a week and a half. So I did play with it quite some time ago. It's a translator program. They can actually take this program or any of our programs. They run it through a translator program, which I'll buy from it. It's not that expensive. It's a monthly subscription. And then they can translate in Bengali, whatever you guys speak over there. And this way they can listen to the shows in your language. But I cannot do it, okay? I mean, I can do it, but I just don't have the time to do it. I'm more than happy to pay somebody over there. Then maybe we'll get a team of people in Bangladesh that do translator programs into different languages. This way, Pod TV, it can be accessible in XYZ language and XYZ. Like I did it for a while, but then I realized I'm just running out of time. But I beta tested it. It does work. So what they'll do is, as we're talking, it'll be dubbed into whatever native language you speak. It's pretty cool, you know.
Yeah.
But the thing is, see if you can. You have to fly to
develop
Bangladesh and see if I can hire some people to do some work for Pod TV. We'll have
Yeah, sure. I can develop a team for you, and you can
Okay.
translate it. Most importantly, like by this way, you can
Sure.
get involved with 300 million people, right?
Yeah, exactly. You increase your
They
reach.
speak in Bengali. Yeah, they can
Yeah,
speak in Bengali.
you
I always
basically-
say, like, Pod TV or How I Doing This World Talents, whatever it is, it's like a online Harvard.
Right.
Right?
Yeah, right. Well, the thing is, we do have some shows that are worthy of that. Like we run the medicine and science show. Dr. Patmos was on earlier today on the economic show. And we were even going to call Ask the Experts, 'cause I'm bringing these experts in financial matters on. Kim wanted to call it Pod TV University. I said, you can't do that. I've already been down that road before. You can't call yourself a university or college unless you go through certain licenses. But we can call it Pod TV Academy. Academy or institute are available words, because we're going to have shows that are at that level. We have one expert who's on long-term care. I don't do long-term care. He knows all about it. Amazing. Fellow of Society of Actuaries. We're going to have one show on special needs. I don't do that type of work, but he does. So the thing is, we're going to have one that does annuities. Yeah, I do annuities, but I don't do a lot of the individual annuities. I do corporate. It's different, you know. So we're going to bring experts on in various different financial matters, maybe in one in portfolio management. I don't do portfolio management. There's tons of financial services. And of course, you know, Dr. Patmos does a medical show once a week that would be really good for people in Bangladesh to listen to, because his content is available for anybody in the world. It's and medical advancement is important. By the way, maybe we should change the name of World Edition, Mark, to Breaking News. What do you think,
I
Mark?
think that's already taken, but I think that's already taken.
No, Breaking News. You cannot not take it. Because the thing is, when I did copyright work a long time ago, they call it highly descriptive. No one can copyright it. So if we said World Edition Breaking News, we can do that. And we just add breaking news to the World Edition show. The World Edition show
It
gets
could be
people
World Edition
slash breaking news, because the thing is, you follow the trends. The trend is your friend. All the stock people know that. So we could change the name of the World Edition, but it's your show. We can change it to World Edition Breaking News.
Yeah,
Okay?
well,
Because
maybe I'll stick that on some of the upcoming episodes and everything like that. But I did have a question about the annuity show, and it's actually for Dr. Sharif and you. How big is annuities internationally, or is this one of those shows that might not get as much action?
Good. That's a good question. In the U.S., and Rick will like this, it's a $434 billion industry every year. Now, international annuities, that's a good question. I'll have to defer to my colleague who is not in the United States, even though I'm not. I don't know if they do annuities in Bangladesh. I have no clue.
So annuities add another little layer of cost to your money in return for somebody else doing the thinking for you, which is very convenient. You pay somebody 0.5% or 0.75% of your money per year. They structure your funds and put it in places where it'll give you a good return. Increasingly, I've been turning over, I've been letting other people do the investments for me, because it's a pain to keep up. It
is. Yeah, the thing is, the company that we're bringing on their annuity, they actually have, you can go into the fixed account, the S&P 500, and the account managed by JP Morgan, the account advised, you can't say managed, advised by JP Morgan and advised by Goldman Sachs. So you have 4 different places that I know of that you can place your funds in. with a guarantee you won't lose money, which is the important part of the annuities. The deferred annuities, the important part on a down market, you're going to make money, you won't lose money. But when the markets go up or these advised funds go up, you don't make the full up either. So
hold on a second. I know we're talking annuities. I know we're talking about media, but I'm sorry. I know we only got about 13 more minutes, but apparently Donald Trump is at it again, and this is a big story because President
Breaking
Donald Trump
news.
did a post on social media this weekend claiming that President Biden died in 2020 and was replaced with clones. So this is something that he did. He shared a link on to the post from his personal account on True Social on Saturday, and apparently he was saying that there is no Joe Biden executed in 2020. Biden clones, doubles, and robotic engineered soulless mindless entities are what you see. So I guess he's claiming that for 4 years there has been no Biden, and Biden isn't really here.
So a criticism of everybody talking about Biden, getting old and losing his mind. The criticism of that is, well, what about Trump, who says stuff like this? And by the way, if they cloned Joe Biden, how did they make the clone go from 0 years old? Because when you clone somebody, they come out as a baby. How did they age that baby 80 years in time for it to replace Joe Biden?
Is that a rhetorical question?
I guess so. I mean,
it had to be.
I mean, has any human ever been cloned? Besides
my knowledge,
twins.
no.
Twins are clones of each other. But
yeah, to my knowledge, no. It was only they do animals, but not humans.
Professor Nick, Professor Nick, as you have a very good knowledge for finance and economics, I already offer you how we can work together for the CEO development and training program. Example, the Stock Exchange Commission chairman, they already know about your economic shows, and all of the responsible person, because I promote our Pod TV, and especially as economic shows. So they give me a case study like that. In Bangladesh, we have 2 million investors in the stock market. But honestly speaking, they are not educated at all, most of the people. That's why many people come to the stock market and they lose.
Yeah, of course.
And on the other hand, so our stock market actually manipulated by external and all of the problems. So maybe I can invite you and all of you in our meeting when we go to after Eid to go to this chairman of the Stock Exchange Commissions. And I really want your economics show and your CEO program, like your financial knowledge and all of the things, to deploy in Bangladesh through the Stock Exchange Commission. Right the way you get 625 corporations. It's $1 trillion economy. You can contribute very professionally, and your knowledge. Honestly speaking, I was impressed. Like when you say, just last 7 days, I see hundreds of Chinese companies come to Bangladesh. Why? They want to protect themselves from tariffs of US. Right. You forecast it, right? And let's say Japan, they come up with a few $1 billion investment. So I think that our policymakers, our entrepreneurs, our corporation, if they can learn from your valuable knowledge, it will be great opportunity for Bangladesh. And for you, definitely it will be professional. It's not free. Nothing will be free. It will be monetized and all of the process. And you are uplifting a country. It's bigger than a Nobel Prize winning, right? Mm-hmm. So that is the way I think we can present it in the emerging economy. And then other countries, Pakistan, then India, maybe Malaysia, then Indonesia, will take your Pod TV and they set an example. And it's $1 billion industry, right?
Yeah, well, the thing is, they have maps over here, Sharif, okay, and they show Bangladesh, India, China, Indonesia all together, and the population of those countries exceed the rest of the world. I mean, it's that big. In other words, if you look at India, China, Pakistan, Bangladesh, Indonesia, they have more people there than the whole world, the rest of the world. It's kind of amazing. And see, people don't know that there's a lot of opportunity there, and there's no there's no pipeline really between those countries and the United States. And it's really strange. In other words, in the US, the big news is ABC, CBS, and NBC. But when I'm in Spain, there's not, ABC isn't even on the air. Neither is CBS, neither is your guy, Jimmy Fallon, or whatever his name is. Neither is Jimmy Kimmel, none of those people. It's really weird that the thing is, the only two broadcasting things I've seen that go international besides Pod TV is CNN and BBC. They tend to be international, but these other ones really are hard to see. But that gives a lot of opportunity because we can broadcast in Bangladesh or in Bengali, so people could actually listen to certain ones of the shows. I mean, you start slow, you bring in the shows that are more educational, and then we bring in the rest of the shows. Sharif, right now they can watch everything through
But
the
isn't
internet.
part of the problem fragmentation? Because I was just looking up, there's something called Gawa Fest, which sounds like NAPTI, but it's in India, and apparently there's been going on this week and everything. And it says the media fragmentation in India also presents a real challenge, but equally an opportunity. Even before digital, there were 432 television stations across different languages. So media planners had been dealing with this fragmentation, but now it's 10 times more fragmented because of digital. The opportunity is to manifest a strong transformational idea in many ways, not just a 30-second ad. If you know how to take one idea and express it in 100 ways, that idea is much more powerful, but it's hard because you have to understand media and tech. Many touch points are tech driven.
Yeah.
So apparently they've got this notion where they've got too much media.
Well, you know, what I'm trying to do, Mark, is run ours ad free. That's the reason we're going to have specialized shows for products. Because one thing I found very annoying coming back to the US is when I watch the shows on the US channels, I watch ads half the time, you know, and in Spain, I don't do that. And obviously in Pod TV, I don't do that. But American shows, I'm spending all my
but
time.
it could be even some basic knowledge, because I'm just going to read this, and maybe Sharif's got some thoughts, because it's probably the same in Bangladesh. But he says, this article says, when you go to small town India, it's a completely different culture and a different mindset and different food. Practically everything is different. But there's one problem you see across all states. Young girls in school were dropping out because when they had their period, they had no knowledge of what was happening to their bodies. The superstition and taboo around periods combined with a lack of knowledge were causing them to drop out of the school. We are losing that many young women from our education system, from our workforce, from a lot of stuff, because like they didn't have that knowledge. So they probably needed like a Patmos type show that could explain what was going on.
You know, I'm glad you brought that up. Maybe on the next Medicine and Science, we should have Dr. Patmos discuss that issue, you know, in other words, because that would help people not just in the United States, but around the world, you know. But I'll have to talk to Dr. Patmos because he's
talk to Dr. Patmos about it. Just really quickly, it said, Whisper walked in to say, of course, we're a sanitary pad brand, but first we're going to try and solve this problem. For many years now, we've been running a program called Keep Girls in School. We've introduced a chapter in the national education system about period education. We created songs for young children to learn what periods are, and we've run programs for mothers in small towns and rural India who don't know enough to teach their children.
Really? Wow. Yeah, wow. Well, the thing is that would be a good show to put on Medicine and Science then, so that people don't drop out of school because they have their periods. You know, they're not bleeding to death or whatever. You know, so I'll talk to Dr. Patmos because we can make a show for that, for the Pod TV network. But one thing I do like is we don't have ads in most of our shows. In other words, the real problem I have here in the US when I'm watching a show, I'm spending half my time watching ads, you know, and you don't get the content. So even Medicine and Science runs, I get to watch the whole show without an ad. Wall Street Hackers, the whole show without the ad. Even you know, David Walker.
Well, there are PSAs. We can't say there aren't ads. You do have.
I know, but we run very few.
There's Kinder Spices. There's Kinder Spice that run some stuff, and there are a couple of other small ads, and of course there are PSAs. We got several PSAs, including some around mental health and stuff like that.
I don't mind the PSAs. I don't mind the PSAs. I don't mind occasional ads, but in the U.S., it's like ad a minute.
Right.
I mean, it's just disgusting. You're not watching a
No,
show. You're
and
watching
there are
an
too
ad.
many ads that I get.
Earlier, you mentioned late night shows and you mentioned fragmentation. So late night, Kimmel himself says that late night shows are dying. That 10 years from now, there may be 1 or 2 late night shows left on the air because people have too many alternatives. And if you look at ad revenue for all the big late night shows, Fallon, Kimmel, the Colbert, add them all together, and advertising revenue is down 60% since 2016.
Yeah. Well, see, our plan is to run the whole network without advertising revenue. That's or for the most part, almost no advertising revenue. And so our business plan is a little different. So we're basically kicking out all the advertisers. So I'm not that interested in advertisers. It's just like, because I think if you do it right, Rick, we can run it without advertisers, which would be pretty cool. Because this way, people aren't interrupted. Oh, we got this new. I mean, seriously, I don't mind a certain amount, but man, that you get pummeled with ads when I'm watching cable here, and to me it's disgusting. You pay for cable and then you're watching ads. And
well, advertising is for old people. Younger people know how to avoid ads. And the reason we know this is my wife and I were watching a show that is about 520-somethings having adventures, right?
Right.
So it's obvious that they want younger people to watch it. But every 5 minutes, there was 2 minutes of ads. And
there you go. That's right.
All the ads were for medicine, for chemo medicine, for all these different diseases, which means who gets sick? Older people. So obviously the people who are sitting ducks for ads, you see it on the news stations like CNN. All the ads are for medicine, which means...
I know we're wrapping up and everything, but how much of the ads are real ads and everything? Because I know one of your favorite topics, Rick, in this part of fiction, in this article as well, is AI and everything like that. So I'm wondering, are we going to see more AI generated ads?
Yeah, you will.
Back in the day, you used to see ads that were traditional ads.
AI ads are real. They're just crappy, and they're made with artificial voices, and probably edited artificially too. Like you'll see a come on thing that this amazing thing that happened to some celebrity, and it says, and you go to it because you're a sucker, and it's got an artificial voice, and it's edited badly the way a computer would just like slap a bunch of clips together. And the sophistication of that kind of stuff will increase over time. And you'll still get ads, but they'll be a human won't have touched them.
And we have to go because upcoming it will be timeshares.
Yes.
Surrenders or solution coming next on the Pod TV network. We're out of time here for the media show. We'll see you next week.